March 18th, Mike Tyson raised the verdict dies. If he doesn't die, it doesn't count. If he's not dead, it doesn't count.
Yeah, cool. How you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan, and this is Ade, and welcome back to another edition of BoxTalk. Today, Ricky Burns returns to the ring after an hellacious 2012-2013, and he returns against a puncher, Dejan Zlaticanin. Ade, how is this fight's going to take out?
Firstly, 10 out of 10 for pronouncing that name. Zlaticanin. Look, this is a seriously big fight for Ricky Burns. I've seen a lot of interviews Ricky Burns has done recently, and look, Ricky Burns has always been that kind of don't really overhype himself, don't really, he's not really a self-promoter, which is good. It's a good trait to have. But let's not underplay how big this fight is. This fight's huge. Ricky Burns, you said had a hellacious 2012-13, you underplayed it. He had the worst, for a world champion, 2012-2013 you can think of. Gonzalez somehow quit on the ring.
With his hand.
Yeah, with his hand. Beltran, he lost to, we all know that. He was a sparring partner, really. And Terence Crawford took his title.
Yeah. And the broken jaw.
I
tell you what, to general boxing fans, they got Ricky Burns down 3-0.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he was lucky to get the decisions in two of those fights.
Yeah.
Or the stoppage with the hand.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ricky Burns is that I think he's a lovely person.
Yeah.
I think he's got very good skills. But something's happened and he's lost something. I think the fight with Gonzalez took a bit of his confidence away and hurt him. And then you had the Beltran fight and the injury. And the Ricky Burns that fought Crawford was not the Ricky Burns that fought 2 years before.
Yeah. I think the thing for Ricky Burns and the thing for everyone that we're all asking this question, and this is not just British fighters, British press or British fans, it's everyone around the world. How good is Ricky Burns? There still is that big question. How good is he? I mean, we know I think he beat Martinez for the title a few years back now, and then he fought the likes of Katsidas when he went up in weight, Nicky Cook, Kevin Mitchell. Yeah. So he's beat the people he should be beating, but then when he's, as we like to say, stepped up to the really elite level, and I don't know if even Beltran and Gonzalez are in that level in terms of their pedigree, in terms of who they fought. I definitely, after watching them, think they are. But when he's stepped up to that elite level, he's come unstuck a bit. So I don't know if he's at that world level, or is he just a stage below it?
Beltran, I'll say he is.
What, because of a sparring partner for Pacquiao?
No. When you can spar with Pacquiao and you can hold your own,
I agree.
Pacquiao, you are a world-class fighter.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're a contender.
Yeah.
It means you're a world-class fighter because, to spar with Pacquiao as his main sparring partner, most of the time you have to have something.
Yeah.
But I think Ricky Burns is as good as they say he is. I just think, like I said, the general boxing media all had Burns losing to Crawford before the fight even started,
which is
because we all knew he went with it. Yeah. We knew his confidence was on an all-time low. The injury, all the things going on around him, and we just knew it. It weren't even a surprise, and that's the sad thing about it. But I do think one or two good fights, especially a guy like Zlaticanin, who is undefeated, got a decent KO record. It's a good confidence builder.
Yeah.
It's a very good confidence builder. But I don't think it's going to be an easy fight either way.
You've got to look at the positives of Ricky Burns. I mean, as much as people talk about the Beltran fight, he got his jaw broken.
Early as well.
Early. And we've seen what that did to the likes of Victor Ortiz, where he just didn't want to fight after that. Ricky Burns got his jaw broken and carried on. Yes, he got beat, but he got his jaw broken in, I think, the second round, they said, and carried on. He done the repair on the jaw. Mentally, it's going to be tough to be fight. Any little jab on the jaw, you're going to be a bit nervous about it. And you can tell he wasn't really the Ricky Burns that literally goes to war in fights, which we know he can do. He's a move trainer. Yeah. He's down south now, obviously, with Tony Sims and them lot. So he's getting so-called good sparring with the likes of Kevin Mitchell's been sparring him, Luke Campbell's been sparring him. So you never know. I think maybe we'll see another Ricky Burns, a different Ricky Burns.
I think we'll see a different Ricky Burns, but like I said, damaged confidence, injuries take time to build that confidence back. He's going to go through a process within the first 3 to 5 rounds of finding himself.
Yeah.
Saying, guess what? I can do this. I'm a decent boxer. I can get in and out. I can take a shot on the chin again. I can do certain things. And that's where his growth's going to be.
Yeah.
It's like sink or swim.
Yeah.
He needs to go for those 3 to 5 rounds to actually get those juices going, because all the sparring, all the training cannot replicate a real fight.
Yeah.
So he's going to have that period. And then after that, going forward, that's where I will get my assessment of where Ricky Burns is after, say, that 5th round.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, to summarise, I think it's fair to say that Ricky Burns is still an elite fighter.
Yeah.
I think, look, Terence Crawford didn't, exactly destroy him in 4 rounds or blow it. It went to points. Yeah. So that kind of shows where Ricky Burns is at the moment. I mean, we don't want to see him back on the domestic scene. We saw what he did to Kevin Mitchell a few years ago. We don't want to see that again. He's way above the domestic scene. And, to be fair, it's a very good domestic scene with the likes of Anthony Crolla, Derry Matthews, Kevin Mitchell. So him being above those show where Ricky Burns really is. He's a very good fighter. My concern for Ricky Burns is, and when I say he's an elite level fighter, what I mean when I say an elite level fighter is that Ricky Burns was a world champion with like 5 or 6 defenses. Yeah. I want to see him as the top 2 or 3 in that division. And that's what I mean by an elite level fighter. I don't know if Ricky Burns is in the top 2 or 3. But I guess, look, first comeback fight in a couple of weeks, we'll see where he is.
I would say he's in the top 3 to 5 based on where he was in that stage in his career.
Yeah.
And like I said, forget controversy or not, he's still got the wins in those 2 fights against Gonzalez and Beltran. No matter how you cut it, that's the record books.
It does. Yeah.
And you've got to count what the record says. You've got to count on that. But we all knew, like I said, we've all been through it. The problems previously. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You can't be a world champion, losing a world title fight, and then be thrown to the back of the bunch.
Yeah.
You've got to hold your position and say, look, let's put it this way. He could have opted for a rematch.
Yeah.
He didn't because he needed time to build
himself. Which is good.
Which is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be opted for a rematch and you're a world champion, you're still a world-class contender.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Look, guys, what do you think? I mean, all props to Eddie Hearn on this one. I mean, you could have put him in with a guy with, 18-6, a no-puncher type guy. He's putting him with a guy, he might not be known to people, but your record is your record. And we've seen with recent people, you don't need to know them to know they're going to be good fights. Ask Fonfara that. Tell Algieri that. Yeah. These are guys that no one knew and put up fantastic performances against so-called favourites. So look, Ricky Burns is to go in there with a guy that has a 72% KO record. How does he fare? If he does win his fight convincingly, do you chuck him straight in again with the winner of a Gamboa versus Crawford? Or do you kind of rebuild him slowly but surely? The thing for me, Ricky Burns isn't 24 or 25. He needs to go quick. And I think Ricky Burns has a huge following in Scotland, so it won't be hard to get him maybe not a WBO title, the one he lost, but maybe a WBC or an IBF or a WBA shot eventually down the line in Scotland against someone. But look, guys, what do you think? Leave the comments below. Ricky Burns, comeback. Does the fire still lit under Ricky Burns' arse base? Is what I'm asking. Is it still enough? He's changed trainer, but is there still enough fire for Ricky Burns to go for another run at a world title shot? Leave your comments below. Email us
at boxtalk@hotmail.co.uk, and please don't forget to follow us on Twitter at BoxTalkUK.
And guys, look, don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate all the subscribers. We appreciate everyone really that follows us. Quick shout out here. I never do this normally, but we've got so many fantastic followers. I have to give a shout out. We've got the likes of Mogley.
Yeah.
Always follow us. Chris Golden. Always follows us.
Yeah.
There's another guy, was it Mr. Good?
Mr. Good. Marcus Byfield,
guys, too many to list, but we've got so many followers, and we thank you for your comments all the time. So, guys, please keep your comments going. Remember, for all your latest Fox News, check out ringnews24.com. And thanks for tuning in for another edition of Box Talk.